All right. Thanks everybody for joining us for our November MetaPWR Hour. I love this call. I am so inspired by all of the stories and testimonials that everyone has to share with us as we have gone through this journey in the last oh my goodness, now it's been a little over a year. Gotten their supersized MetaPWR Assist. Right? This is the Mac Daddy. I don't know if you've seen my reel, but I totally made a reel about this. These are so awesome, right? One of these little guys, and there's 4 of these little bottles in this huge 120 bottle, and you save $18. This is so fantastic. When I saw this, I had to totally get it right away because this was better than Christmas for me. This was my Christmas present. And it came out the first part of BOGOs. So we were I was freaking out, you guys. This was better for me. I had no idea what was coming. And so I was just totally excited. So anyways, this guy is so awesome. And here's the dinky little ones that used to be. So if you can see the difference in size, it's so awesome. Anyways, my husband and I both use it, and we both use more than one a day. And like I said, for those of you who don't know what this is yet, you will know soon. So just bear with us, but super awesome. I'm so happy that you're here tonight. The first speaker that I have sharing their testimony with us tonight is Tanya. She is my aunt, and she has had fantastic results from the beginning with MetaPWR. I know many of you have seen her stories and her sharing. She just shared her 1-year pictures and graphics in all the groups, and I was like, would you come on and jump on and share with us, please? Because I know that it's hard on all these calls. Over time, we kind of those who are on this journey for a long period of time, we can kind of miss ourselves, right? We can kind of say, oh, we get wrapped up in sharing other people's testimonies. That inspires me. And so I'm super excited that she is willing to share her testimony with us tonight. So Tanya, if you would like to unmute and just feel free to share.
Yeah, thanks. I haven't been on to share how things are going for a while. Some of you, if you've been hopping on here during the year, might remember that I shared, oh gosh, I don't know, probably almost a year ago. So I started using MetaPWR October 1st of 2022. Let me get my screen sharing going here. I do have my most recent before and after photo. So this is my updated photo that I just shared on, I think it was last Wednesday. I hadn't taken a photo since July, and I thought, okay, I'm due to take one. So this is this would be about 12 and a half, no, let me think, 13 and a half months, a 13 and a half month span. It was 13 months of using doTERRA. So I took the first photo on mid-September of last year because I knew MetaPWR was coming, and I hadn't got it yet, but I started wearing a continuous glucose monitor. You can see that on my arm, because I was really excited to start MetaPWR, but I wanted to see what was happening under the surface. I wanted the data. I really wanted to know, what is MetaPWR doing for me? The products alone, aside from even the lifestyle part, which is important. But so I went ahead and invested in a continuous glucose monitor. And I just, for 1 month, but I wanted to wear it for a week before I started using MetaPWR so that I had data on what my glucose situation actually was like. And it wasn't great. It was a lot worse than I thought, actually. Then I got MetaPWR when they released it at the doTERRA convention, and I waited. I had it in front of me, but I didn't let myself take it until I had been monitoring for a week. And then I started on MetaPWR and monitored for another 3 weeks. And I'll share a little bit about that data in a minute. And then I just continued on after that because I could see a difference. I could feel a difference. But I actually had data that I knew the product was working to bring my glucose under control, my blood sugar under control. And so I just, people are like, what was your protocol? Tell me the secrets. I really don't have secrets. I just use the product. I just use the darn product every single day. Consistency in using the product was great. So it just, it's really helped me. Now, so this 13 months in, I'm 21 pounds down. But it's been more than just pounds lost, because a lot of what came off of me early was inflammation. I just didn't realize how inflamed I was, but you can just see it in my face. I was very inflamed everywhere in my gut. And so dropping inflammation happened pretty quickly for me. And then I did have some fat loss as well. I also noticed monitoring that I wasn't spiking as high and I wasn't staying spiked as long. So after that month of monitoring was over, so 1 week without MetaPWR, 3 weeks with MetaPWR, I used an app called levelshealth.com that paired with my monitor, and it gave me tons of analytic feedback. And I had kind of reports along the way, but at the end of the month, it sent me like the granddaddy of all the reports. And I got this email of all these reports, and it was fascinating to learn about myself. And the one that jumped off the page to me said that my high glucose events had reduced by 63% from the beginning of the month. Well, I didn't see a reduction of that until week 2. So week 2, 3, and 4, I saw that reduction. And they had it as a bar graph. I should have got that ready to show you guys, but I didn't. They had it as a bar graph for each week. And it measured how many minutes I was elevated out of range across that week. And the bar graph literally was like a stair step. It just went boom, boom. It was like high, and then it dropped, and then it dropped again the next week, and then it dropped again. And so I was like, man, the longer I'm using MetaPWR, the more my results are like compounding. I'm actually getting even better results week 2, week 3. So I didn't want to keep paying for a monitor. So I stopped monitoring, but I knew enough to see, because I could even see like the capsules that Alicia was holding up, the assist, that's kind of like a carb blocker. So you take that with your meal or meals whenever you're eating like carbs, starches, sugars, so, or like your biggest meal of the day. I take it now whenever I eat any of those things. If I'm just going to have almonds or bacon in the morning, I don't take one, because I know I'm not going to spike from that. But if I'm having any kind of starches or carbs or any kind of sugar, I take an assist. So I'm a super user of that. Because I monitored, I see the difference in what my blood sugar does when I take it with my food versus when I don't. So why would I eat something and spike high when I could just pop a capsule and not spike as much? So it's totally worth the extra stock up for me, which is why the big bottles are awesome. Yeah, I noticed my brain fog was better. I felt mentally sharper. I feel mental energy when I drink my Advantage drink, which is the collagen drink mix. I do one of those a day, and I was like, I can drink that in the morning and I don't even need caffeine. It like really wakes my brain up. It helps me feel alert. I'm focused. I feel like my mood is nice and high. I did notice in the beginning I would get really tired at night, and I think it was just because I was in a bad habit of staying up way too late, and my body was normalizing. It was like, and bedtime, time to go to sleep. But then I would sleep so hard and wake up refreshed and have good energy during the day. So that was something I really noticed. I noticed less pain. I don't have a lot of pain, but I had a little bit of joint pain in my feet and ankles when I would like get out of bed. You step down, you're like, it's a little tender. That started reducing and going away. And I just generally was like, I'm feeling like younger and more energetic. I can tell you right now, I feel like 10 years younger, at least, maybe even more. I'm 46 years old. I honestly probably feel more like I did in my late 20s than I even did in my late 30s. So dropping your inflammation and regulating your blood sugar, I can't even begin to tell you what a difference it makes in how I feel. I know my hormones are balancing better. My periods are a little bit easier to deal with. I noticed muscle, like I felt stronger in my core, and I did not increase my workouts. In fact, I've been telling myself, so moment of honesty here, I've been telling myself for a year, I'm going to start strength training, and I really haven't. I got a kettlebell and I did a little bit here and there, but I just haven't made that a new habit. My exercise is I go for walks a lot, and I live on a really steep mountain hill. So I walk up and down hills. I continued that as The only thing I really changed was because my monitor would tell me when I was spiking, and I learned that if you go for a walk when you're spiking, it drops you. So it taught me that habit. Like after I eat a meal, that's a good time to go for a quick 10-minute walk. It really makes a difference. Like I learned that, but I really didn't add exercise. And I purposely didn't change my eating because I wanted to see what the monitor did. Now I have noticed my sugar cravings went away. And so naturally I'm eating less sugar. I've always tried to kind of keep my carbs low, but I still eat bread. I still eat dessert. Everyone's different. My husband has totally gotten rid of carbs. He's more keto, and for some health reasons that are specific to him. And he does MetaPWR, and he's done very well. I haven't had to do that to that extreme. Another thing I wanted to share was I had lost 16 pounds fairly quickly, but not everybody sees weight loss right away. So you have to give your body the space and permission to heal how it wants to heal. Because I saw other people that were like, my hair's growing in thicker and my eyesight's getting better. And I didn't see that at first. I didn't see my eyesight improving, but I have in the last couple of months noticed that. So everyone's body shifts in its order. So I did have some weight release early on and inflammation release. So my body composition changed, but then I plateaued. And that was a little frustrating. I plateaued at 16 pounds down, probably like by last December. And I just hung out there for the longest time. And sometimes I would even gain a few, drop a few, gain a few, drop a few, gain a few, drop a few. And I just hung out at that mark, just like hovering around like a 4-pound mark. And I even joined, Alicia did a little challenge in August, and I was like, I'll pay the $20 to put a little money in the pot and challenge myself. Maybe I will really totally back off on carbs a little more, or work out a little bit more, get those weights out or something, see if I can break that plateau. And I didn't really change anything, and I didn't actually break my plateau at all. And I just kind of stayed plateaued. This fall, we went through, we're in the middle of a major medical crisis with one of our kids, and then the stress has been unlike anything I've ever dealt with in my life. So I was stress eating a lot. I've been stress eating a lot, and I thought I was going to balloon and gain weight. But one thing I did was I have stayed faithful on my MetaPWR supplements, because that is a very easy thing for me to do for my self-care. And there was a day, and I haven't shared this with anyone yet, and I really understand the science behind this. So I don't do a lot of fasting. I didn't do well on intermittent fasting. Some people do great and combine that with MetaPWR. I think everybody's different. But I did a 1 day, actually it was about 36-hour fast, just water fast. Well, except I had my MetaPWR Advantage because I wanted that. But it wasn't for weight, and it wasn't for my body. I was doing it as a prayer fast because my daughter's health. And so I did that, but it was really weird because it broke my plateau. And it kind of like gave me I think it gave me some kind of restart. So I don't know. But I've been stress eating, but I seem to have broke my plateau and just stayed faithful on MetaPWR. And I started to release some weight again and more inflammation. And so that's where I'm at today. And I love MetaPWR, and I tell everybody, hang in there, because I've had weight gain days as well. You've got to hang in there. And I'm a huge believer in getting your pathways open and detoxing. I think if you start MetaPWR, you're like, I gained weight or I was bloated right out the gate, that is a sign we're learning that you got some parasite die off, or something is jammed up, your liver, your kidneys, you then back off. And I'm really having people focus on the Zendocrines, which are doTERRA products. There's two. There's a Zendocrine complex and a Zendocrine oil blend in a capsule. You take them together twice a day, and it opens up those exit pathways. So toxins, and guess what? You need exit pathways for fat to leave your body. And that's another thing I learned was sometimes you feel cruddy and you get achy in your joints. That's a feeling that happens when fat is pulled out of your adipose fat cells, and you can feel cruddy for a few days. You got to flush it out. So you drink lots of water, you stay on your MetaPWR, but you got to have those pathways open. So if you kind of struggle to see results, focus on that. I'm a big believer in do the Zendocrines, help your body be able to flush things out. I think that's all I have.
Well, I have a couple questions, because I know that you have shared a little bit in some other groups about I think it was somebody had already asked Tiffany, I think in the comments, like a more inexpensive way than a CGM. And you had shared that a little bit, some information with your daughter. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me about glucose monitoring. I didn't do it because I thought everybody needed to do it. I just wanted to be the guinea pig, to be honest, to get the data to share with people because I'm like, no, nobody else needs to pay for that. I teach this and do it as a business, like some of you, and I was like, that's going to help me to do my job better. So that's why I did it. But um, if you're really trying, if you really feel like you need to gain an understanding of what's going on in your body, there's a lot of benefits to it, I've come to believe. I don't think everyone needs to go out and jump into investing in that right off the gate. Like your better investment is just to get going on MetaPWR, maybe some Zendekrons with it. And then, but if you feel like you're like, something's off with me and I need to figure out, like, for example, I learned what time of day is ideal for me to eat. I found out that I do much better. My glucose doesn't react as bad when I'm eating in the mornings and early afternoons, but 2 o'clock to about 10 o'clock is my window where my blood sugar spikes. With same food, it'll spike higher. And the app I was using was actually telling me that you tend to be more insulin resistant in after 2 p.m. So I learned that I need to focus on starting my day with a lot of protein and food early and maybe back off and have a little bit of lighter eating later in the day. Not just because don't work out or don't eat before bed, but because that's how my body's like insulin response works. I wouldn't have known that without monitoring. So it can be a helpful tool, but it's an investment. So I'll give you some tips. So traditionally you get your glucose monitor by a doctor prescribing it, and then you go to the pharmacy and you pick it up. I went through a company called levelshealth.com where the company itself prescribes it to you via like a telemedicine. You just import your data into the website and they mail it to you, and it's a Dexcom monitor. And that costs $199 for a year's membership to Levels Health. So you get the app that interprets your data, and it's fantastic. But then to get the monitor through them, it's $199 a month for the monitor. So for 1 month, it was $398. If I wanted to continue months after that, it would be $199 a month for the monitor. I just did the 1 month though. But we ended up having to get a glucose monitor for our daughter because she was kind of running really hypoglycemic with her health crisis. And so hers was prescribed by a doctor, and we went to Walgreens to pick it up, and it was again a Dexcom, and it was just for the monitor, no fancy extra app from the other company. I mean, it has its app that just reads it, but $449. Well, we had to pay that because it was an emergency to get it on her, and we didn't have time to order it online. But after that month, we needed to continue to monitor her for a little longer. So we did 2 more months of monitoring, and we found out that there's a competing company with Dexcom called the Freestyle Libre 3, which is the latest one that Libre makes. And you can get that one through Costco for $79 a month. So we switched to that. Now you would have to have a doctor prescribe it and send it to Costco to fill that. So is it cheaper to go through Levels Health or go through your doctor? I don't know. It depends. What are you paying for your doctor's appointment? That's what it comes down to. But the monitor itself is cheaper. Now, you don't have the fancy app with Levels Health that reads everything and spits out all of this great analytics and interpretation. However, I just found out yesterday that the Libre has like an actual website. You can go on a desktop, go to the website, and it'll correspond with your data. And it actually does have some analytics in there that are pretty good. So those are some options. $79 a month is so much doable. These things used to be like $1,200 a month, just like a year and a half ago. But you do need that doctor's appointment, or you can kind of spring for the, $400 version to kick it off for a month, and then $200 a month through Levels Health, and avoid using the doctor. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. I just know for so many people wanting and needing this information that it's really hard to find, really. I mean, unless, it's through these calls or, listening to, us leaders online. It's really a new thing for people to actually use CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, for
brand new technology.
for their metabolic health versus waiting until you have some diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
then
not
needing.
long ago, you couldn't get one unless you were diabetic, but now you can, and they're very, very helpful. So, again, don't feel like, oh no, I can't go on this journey and find healing if I can't afford a glucose monitor, but just know it's an option out there. If you're like, I can't quite figure out the puzzle of myself, it can be very helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Tanya. Super awesome. And great to hear about the plateau thing. Yay, finally.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right. Tiffany, you're up next.
Hey,
Hi.
testing 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me?
Yep. How are you?
Awesome. I'm great. I am so great. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I had the pleasure of seeing some of y'all at convention this past year. It was so amazing. Oh my gosh. So, um, my MetaPWR journey started early this year, January 12th, actually. Yeah, it was, oh yeah. So, I'm going to try to share my screen. I've never done it before. I'm kind of new to this. Okay. Chrome tab. Okay, cool. All right. Let me know if y'all can see that because I can't see y'all right now.
Yep. We can see it.
Awesome. So this is me, I'd say, what was it, 3 years ago? Whoa, where'd it go? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, 3 years ago, oh my gosh, I was miserable. I had fibroids like crazy. Fibroids made me seem like I was 5 months pregnant when I really wasn't. Oh my gosh. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But then I had them surgically removed, which was kind of a plus. It helped with some symptoms being away, but not all of them. I was still kind of nauseating, kind of nauseated sometimes during my periods. I still had to take ibuprofen at 800 milligrams for the pain. It was just crazy. And, I popped that pill and I'm okay for the most part. But I was still kind of miserable. But then January 12th came in this year. I started taking the MetaPWR System. I took pretty much everything. Right now, it's just the Advantage every morning, and I just drink the oil in my water all the time, as much as I can. Sometimes I forget, but consistency is key, of course. So here I am, much more recent. Oh my gosh, that tummy just disappeared. Oh my goodness, I was just oh my gosh, I was amazed at what MetaPWR is doing in my life. And also in conjunction, I take Lifelong Vitality. That's been a very big part of my life too. Right now, I just take the half dose and I'm still doing well. I feel like I've bounced back into my like mid 20s now. It's just, ooh, so amazing. That's that in a nutshell. Also, oh gosh, where am I at? I can't get it. Okay. I also I take fennel all the time. That really helped me a whole lot. That came in as our free product of the month in February of 2023. And that was my saving grace overall. Since then, since I started taking fennel in my water all the time, I have not had any cramps of any kind. My periods are way smoother than they used to be. I can't even tell when I come off of them. It just all that stuff just disappeared. It's just wow. I mean, I use so many other oils too. I've been trying DDR Prime recently. Oh my word. I love how that tastes in my water. Sometimes I have it in a little hot tea sometimes when I feel like I want a little something warm and good. And the flavor of that oil. Oh my gosh. So good. So good. And I'm planning to do a detox come first of the year. I'm going to do the Zendicrine complex as well as the oil like I did before. And I'll probably include more stuff like lemon oil, which I also take a lot in my water all the time, as well as DDR Prime as well. So that's going to be really good. I had done that detox this past August in preparation for convention. Oh man, I felt a big difference. And I'll probably feel even more so. I still have to be more consistent with my exercise routine because right now I'm at kind of a plateau myself. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I do still feel way, way better than I did those years ago. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for figuring out how to share your pictures. I'm so happy that you were able to do that. It's fun to hear all of the different oils and stuff that we're trying in our water, and especially like somebody like you who, maybe a little bit newer and like excited about some of those things and what it's doing for your health, because there's people like me, to be honest, who I'm like, oh, fennel, like it's great for when I have an upset stomach, but like not on a regular basis. So now I want to try it more regularly, and especially around that time of the month. I think that's really powerful to know, because that's one of those things that yeah, it's just one of those things that like it's just really helpful. So thank you for sharing. I'm so happy you're feeling better. Like I can so relate. So
Thank you. Oh, it's good for sugar cravings too, by the way.
okay.
Oh my gosh, cuts
Good.
those sugar cravings in half.
Yeah. Wow.
Another tip.
Amazing. Thank you. Is there anybody else right now that wants to share how it's been going for them? I don't see any other hands raised, but if not, then I'm just going to share kind of about MetaPWR, and then we can just kind of go through the system real quick. And then if anybody decides they want to share, we can totally do that as well. So I will just do my screen share. And I have shared this a couple of times, but this is just my most recent. I haven't actually done any more pictures yet. I'm kind of like Tanya, where I like stop for a while as far as taking pictures go, but then I remember like, okay, I need to take pictures to keep myself going. And that's truly how I keep like my team, right? Like it's so funny. I had somebody message me on my team today, and she was like, oh, I've started and stopped for various reasons with MetaPWR, but I started again today and I feel so much better. I'm sleeping so much better. She said that she was not sleeping very well for like a few weeks. So that is something that I noticed significantly as well. And so my journey is that it's ongoing, and I can attest to Tanya when it comes to the inflammation piece, just how much more motivated I am to work out. So Tiffany, for you who hasn't maybe started that yet, releasing those endorphins really does help our mental state. And we have to shift our mindset on working out, like, oh, I have to work out today, versus I get to work out today. And even if it's a short 30-minute walk or 20 minutes, you're moving your body, and that is helping your mental state just as much as your physical state. So just keep that in mind. But truly, the MetaPWR system is incredible. As you've heard from several people today, but there's just a few steps in the MetaPWR system. It comes in the oil, the soft gels, the beadlets, and then the gum. And the MetaPWR oil, I love to take under my tongue, you guys. Like I just do a few drops of it under my tongue, and that's called sublingually. And that just really, I feel like it works better for me that way than in my water. I do love it in my water, but I'm noticing that like I just, when I'm measuring and doing all the things, right, focusing on the scale and that sort of thing, I notice that I do better with it under my tongue than I do in my water. I don't know why, but I just know that there's a lot of science behind the under the tongue. So, and for any of you who struggle with heartburn issues with MetaPWR, some people do, some people don't. But if you do, I know that one person who started taking it under her tongue, it's really helped. She didn't have any of the heartburn issues she had when she was drinking it in her water. So keep that in mind. And then the soft gels, I take 2 to 4 of them a day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon sometimes. Like I said, the gum is my saving grace. As far as if I'm chewing the gum, I actually don't even think about food. Like I have to force myself to think about it. But if I'm not chewing it, then I oftentimes have those cravings come back a little bit more. I used to be somebody who deals with hangry issues a lot. Actually, a lot of my friends could tell you, like I used to go crazy, like when I got like it got to be at that stage. When I do use the beadlets in between meals, I haven't had any of those hanger, I would call them issues since I started MetaPWR. So I'm so grateful for that. I feel a lot more even as far as my glucose levels go. And I'm so grateful. Like that's life-changing in itself. And so the assist is the ones that we were talking about. Now they come in 120 capsules versus just the little 30 capsules. I call it the Mac Daddy bottle of MetaPWR Assist is actually $99.50 for those who are super using it. Is a fantastic deal, and you save $18. So under wholesale price. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but that is super helpful information to know. And those are what Tanya was talking a lot about, the glucose levels and stopping the spikes from happening. And that's what ages us as we get older. Our cells age, that's why they say when you get older, it's harder to lose weight. It's because the sacs around each fat cell actually shrivel up around the fat, and it stores the fat inside that cell. And that's why when people say it's harder to lose the weight, it's because you have to rehydrate that casing around those fat cells so that it can eliminate the fat that's trapped inside of it. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's what the MetaPWR oil does. It actually rehydrates those cell walls and it flushes out the trapped fat that's inside. When they say it's shrinking fat cells, that's what it does. It's it's fascinating to me. A lot of people don't understand what it actually does for our body, but that's the oil and this is the assist. So the glucose spikes and that sort of thing. So it actually limits those spikes from happening, so that, like Tanya shared, that it's not so crazy. We're not on that roller coaster all the time, right? And then the MetaPWR Advantage is the collagen plus NMN. This is your cellular energy that is fantastic. This is what's going to give you your, the skin, hair, nails, I think the eyesight support that Tanya was talking about that some people are seeing, the joint support that we're talking about. I can attest to that with being a massage therapist. I used to have hands that would ache, and I haven't really had much of an issue since starting Advantage. I do go back and forth taking 1 or 2 a day. Some people super use it as well and taking 2 a day. Some people don't. I think for me, it just depends on the day that I'm on. If I take 1 or 2, for a while I was taking 2 and then I kind of backed off. So a sample daily schedule, really this is across the board. This doesn't matter, really. It doesn't matter when you take them, when it works for you, as long as you're being consistent, okay? So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're being consistent every single day. Do the same thing. And if you have to figure it out, like take some time, right? Some people think that the MetaPWR Advantage, if you're a little bit older, 50 and older, it's actually good to take before bedtime. And some people like me who are maybe in their 30s or 40s, they're taking it earlier in the day, like 10, 11, 9 in the morning, and they're actually seeing significant energy from it. So it's so fascinating because you really do have, it's individually, like when they labeled this MetaPWR, personal wellness realized is what power means. And it's so true. It's so personal. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this with you, because you have to find what works for you as long as you're taking it consistently. And so why is the MetaPWR kit the best deal is because if you buy it from somebody through a link, anybody who invited you, it actually saves you the $35 that doTERRA actually charges you if you find it on their site. And so if you were to add up all of these products together, it's actually $237.25. But it's actually savings of $58.25. Excuse me. So it's $179, right? It's so amazing and affordable when you buy it in the kit. Now, if you piece these together, you can, but it's going to be a different price, right? Like you see in the picture, it tells you the individual prices of all of those things. Okay. So if you were to add up all of those things and then the MetaPWR System, which is the bottom one on the right, you would see that all of those things would add up to more than the 179. It'd be 202.25. So that's why this kit is the best. So I can see, okay. I don't know where we are as far as the comments, but is anybody else wanting to share, or if there's information that I missed? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up for tonight and we'll just call it a short night. And I just hope that put a 2 in the comments if you learned something new tonight. I just want to see, like, is this all stuff that you already knew, or was this pretty, like, put a 2 if there's something like you're like, okay, I learned something new tonight. Like I did not know that. Okay, awesome. So there's quite a few people here who may be still learning about this system, maybe still trying to figure out how, you know, how this all works. Or maybe if you're still learning, like, okay, first of all, let's just do this. Have you, if there's anybody on the call tonight who that you haven't tried MetaPWR yet, will you put a 5 in the comments if you're willing? It's totally fine if you're not. Or I just want to see what our audience is here, if there's people who haven't maybe tried MetaPWR, or if we're all trying MetaPWR on the call tonight. Okay, so maybe a couple people who haven't tried it yet, maybe. So that's awesome. And then one more thing, will you put a 7 in the comments if you are somebody who are like, okay, I can see how powerful this system is, and I'm willing to share it with somebody before our next call next month. Put a 7 in the comments if you can think of at least one person to share MetaPWR with. Okay, so we have a lot of people, right? So, I mean, there's so many people in our lives. You guys, we think sometimes that, you know, that we're the only ones that, like, maybe like all these people already know about MetaPWR, and that is not the case. Let me tell you right now, that is not the case. There's so many people that need what we have, and that's why I'm so passionate to share, because oh, you guys, if you look at the statistics of what's going on metabolically in this world, we are failing, right? Like, let's be real here. As Americans, we are failing. And it's so sad. You know, so many things aren't working for people as far as health goes in metabolically. So just give, like, seriously, just give it a chance and give it time, right? Like Tanya said, just give it time. You might not understand what it's doing for your body if you're not looking at those numbers, but just give it time and see how you're feeling. And I am telling you, I can't imagine my life now without it. So I am just so grateful that you took, you know, 45 minutes to an hour of your night to spend it with